Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, we've got three incredible things for you. We've got the number one deck, Crazy reclaimed the number one spot with a brand new deck. We've got a 74% win rate deck that peaked in the top four. It's currently ranked number 6. And Lambi dropped his White Widow brew. One of our friends has already gotten an infinite ticket with it. These are legit lists. We've also got custom cards, another giveaway winner for you, and so much more. Let's get started, but first I want to tell you about two tournaments that we are running. We've got increased prizes thanks to Prime Mind, a mindfulness and helping productivity app that, if you're willing to, we hope you'll check out. If you do, shoot us a line and let us know that you checked it out. So we've got the Snap Grand Prix happening this coming weekend, April 27th and 28th. That is $1,000 in prizes for this two-day tournament. Saturday will be the Swiss. If you make the top 8, 16, depending on how many people join, on Saturday, you'll come back Sunday to play the cut, and the winner will take away the grand prize. But there's a million prizes throughout and various other things. We also have the worth noting, the Snap Grand Prix is completely free to enter. Meanwhile, we have the Snap Judgments League Season 2 kicking off. This first season was a huge success. We just had Slush Death, our first winner, get their prize. We are tripling the prize support for the second season. We've still got plenty of seats left. Last season, we had 8 pods of like 30-ish people each. We're looking to hopefully match or exceed that, so please join. All you have to do is, it's $1 on the Snap Judgments Patreon to join. This way, basically, I don't lose too much money in running this tournament, but it is a humongous tournament with gigantic prizes. This is your only chance to play such great players as Lambi and Tucker and all of these wonderful people who will be in the various pods. So please check it out. Make sure you join for either of them the Discord. It's the Snap Judgments League Discord. It has all the sign-up info on both leagues. It's in the description to this and every video we make. Right, our first deck is RS Barry. Hit top 4 with this Thanos list with a completely absurd win rate. RS Barry is a top infinite player, just sits near the top of the board all the time, and peaked at 4. This is currently the number 6 deck, as honestly, it seems like RS Barry hasn't played a lot in a day or two, but which will hurt when you're trying to gather snap points. This is an alteration of the FAK Crazy list that Crazy was number 1 with for most of the season. The major difference, and I love the difference, I'm not even going to pretend, I played this deck for all of 5 games and made 20 cubes, largely because of Alioth. I dropped big things. I dropped a 20 power Thanos in one. I dropped a something crazy blob in another, and I was ahead in other lanes, and I figured they were just going to Shang me. And guess what? They tried to Shang me, but I had Prio because I had 20 power nonsense, and then Alioth protected my cards and won me the game. Right now, I have not loved the Hela and Corvus stuff. It has not done a whole lot for me, so there's another version that basically cuts those 2 cards and runs it for... I want to say it's like Psylocke and Cull that I think might be a better version of this. I think it might want to be Psylocke and Scar, but that's neither here nor there. I think that these are absolutely legitimate lists. Everyone stop playing them. I think they're still some of the best things to do, especially now in this junk meta. People are trying to play junk, and you're just like, great, enjoy your junk. Here's a giant card. You want to play Yondu or Zemo? Enjoy a Infinity Stone that does nothing for you. Slam big card, win. So if you'd like to talk to RS Barry about this, he's a regular in the Bootman Discord. MSTZ Bootman has his own Discord. Bootman's a great content creator that helped us an absolute ton when we first started out. Props to Boot and props to RS Barry. So Thanos, Mockingbird, Hope, Corvus, Blob, and Red Hulk are required, although I did give you some changes for that Corvus if you need it. You can cut the Corvus and Hela. It's just a different version of the deck. You can also try Giganto for one of the big cards, or you can try Cull or Crossbones for Alioth, or, again, Hela and Corvus. Jeff can be Armor or Psylocke here. Psylocke is really good in these lists and just doesn't get run anymore. Mobius can be one of those cards, Kyra or Luke. And I want to try Nico and Thanos at some point. I don't know what the spot is, but I'm very curious how Nico would play in Thanos currently, just as an extra way to get some draw going early on. All right, so this went as of when I spoke to Barry, 74% win rate, 32-11, and was at rank 4. And then I didn't speak to Barry yesterday, and that's where we left it off. So turn 1, draw. Turn 2, Mind Stone is generally your priority. That's a snap. Is better than draw, is better than Jeff. Turn 3, Corvus is more or less equal to Hope, depending on what's in your hand. If you've got a nice chunky hand, I would rather drop Corvus, and if you're looking to like try and ramp into some 6s and outwin that way, I would prefer Hope. You can also drop Mockingbird, and if you have stones in hand, then Hope is better than Corvus as a general rule, because then you can go Hope into some stones, and then you get a really cheap Mockingbird and something else next turn. And those are better than Mobius. Mobius is just a thing to do early if you're not seeing your pieces. Turn 4, Mockingbird, Vision, or cards on Hope. Turn 5, pick a 6 or drop Vision. And then turn 6, Eliath, Hela, or the biggest 6 you got. All good? Remember that if you've got that giant turn 5 plan, you've got Prio, and like they're like staying, and like they really shouldn't stay. That means they have Shang. Play Eliath, you win. One last look at this deck. It is a beauty. It is extremely, extremely powerful. I like it a lot. I think that we stopped playing Thanos too fast. All right, please hit the sub, like, and comment button. It helps us grow. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm. We are trying to get as big as we possibly can so that we can help as many Marvel Snap players as we can. We are doing our very best to support the community each and every day. If you watch longer, that really, really helps our watch time, which helps the videos as well. Also, we have one last giveaway that we're currently in the process of finishing up. That was won by Cow Coimbra. So, Cow Coimbra, please reach out at snapjudgmentspodcast@gmail. You won a season pass, and if you have the season pass, you won a gold pass. Also, please remember, dear viewers, we are less than a week away, as of this video, from next season's season pass giveaway. We give away 15 season passes at least every single season, so we're going to give away a whole bunch of season passes for the next season pass card, which is it Blink next? I believe it's Blink. So that is 2 weeks away, which means next week we kick off the giveaway so that hopefully we can get Blink into as many of your hands as soon as possible. All right, time for questions of the day. Luna Cress asked about me starting a Twitch. I don't think so. I don't really have time. Once I finish these videos in the evening, or right before I finish the videos, I try and spend time with my wife. Before that, my son's awake. I try and spend time with my son. I don't really have time to start a Twitch. I'll tell you what, though. If Second Dinner inputs a, a full spectator mode, and I can watch other people's games, I'll do a commentary-based Twitch for a limited time each night. I don't really think there's a point in doing like a half-hour night of Twitch as is, but I figure I can spare a half hour to an hour some nights a week if they ever put in that spectator mode. Winning by Wisconsin asks what archetype frustrates me to play against. I hate, lucky draws combos, right? When they go, when I've killed multiple things, when I've played like Yondu or Gladiator, and then they go, they get the perfect Phoenix Force curve, and it hits the right card, that annoys me. It also annoys me, I was screwing around with against a Hela earlier, and the pull a card on turn 5 location came out, and it pulled Corvus and emptied their hand. They had no hand, and then on turn 6, they top-decked Hela and beat me. That kind of thing is completely obnoxious. Outside of that, I don't usually get too frustrated. I had a really bad losing streak testing out Widow earlier. It didn't feel good, but I also wasn't losing my shit. I made all of it back with the Thanos list pretty quickly. Wesley1340 wants to know what to consider when building a deck. Okay. So the first thing you want to consider when building a deck is what you want it to do. How is that deck going to win? Is it planning on winning with Red Hulk? Is it planning on winning by clogging things? And then it wants to make sure it has a couple plans in order to win. Once you figure out what that is, you say what cards traditionally go with this. Are there any cards that I think traditionally go with this that don't make sense? Like it used to be, the easy, obvious example is if you'd have Darkhawk on a deck, you'd be like, well, I want Rock Slide and Korg, right? If that's going to be one of my win conditions. If I have a Nihilus, I want Sentry and Hood. What's the condition? What do I want to play? From there, as long as I have 2 of those, I want to make sure that I have a curve, right? I want to make sure that I'm not sitting there drawing dead with a bunch of high-cost cards, or that I don't have too many low-cost cards and nothing to do late in the game. Finally, the last thing I really want to consider is what I want to beat. What's in the meta? Do I need specific tech cards for the meta? Do I need Shangar Enchantress? Do I need Red Guardian? Do I need Shadow King, etc.? Once I've determined all of that, I'm ready to build my deck. That's the general considerations. We had a really great podcast on this with Yo Woody MJ and Ika, that the Demons of the Internet 8, that I will do another deck building podcast where we literally talk through this again for you at some point soon. Mash asks about the best flavor cards, the cards that most closely represent their MCU or Marvel comic counterparts. The ones I like best are listed as follows. I think Agatha, with the it's Agatha all along thing from the Loki TV show, is absolutely perfect. I think it's delightful how they did that. Sentry, giving a void of the exact same power, is amazing. Sentry should genuinely probably be a 6-cost card that does the same thing, right? And have a bajillion power, but like game balance, so whatever. I love the Mysterio clone mechanic. It feels perfect where Spider-Man's trying to punch through fake Mysterios all the time. It's genuinely just like amazing and fantastic. Mysterio himself has a little bit too much power given that, but whatever. Again, the power is nothing we can do. I'm gonna actually take Deadpool off. Deadpool is here partially because I like the little voice acting. I think Wolverine fits better, where he just gets a little bit stronger as he gets beat up and heals and comes back and keeps coming and keeps coming. I like that a lot. We've got Spidey, who basically webs someone and drags them with him with some good power for cost. I like Spidey a lot. The MM here is Multiple Man. I think Multiple Man is great. Multiple Man makes duplicates of himself, but he uses kinetic energy to do so. That's why in comics, what you'll see him like punch his hand to do it. There's not really a punch his hand mechanic in Marvel Snap, right? So he has to move, and that's how he gets duplicates. Love it. And then, of course, we have Nico Minoru, who is my single favorite. Nico Minoru is the queen of flavor. In the comics, she can cast any spell, but can only cast it once. And her 7 spells, she cycles through one each game, not repeating, are absolutely perfect for that. Even like that one of the spells is a demon is just perfect because, you know, magician. If you'd like your question read out in tomorrow's video, please leave it in the comments. All right, this is Lambi's version of White Widow. It is a junk deck, right? Like this is straight and strictly a junk deck. It is trying to say that you cannot play anything. By the way, in addition, if you're trying to get White Widow and you checked out yesterday's video already, right? Because I describe all the White Widow considerations in yesterday's video, but you want a consideration of other Spotlight caches. Over on Marvel Snap Zone, I wrote a Spotlight cache guide that has, every single data mined Spotlight cache in Marvel Snap. All 11 of them, including this one, ranked. So if you're interested, check it out on Marvel Snap Zone. Hopefully you like it. This is a straightforward junk deck, though. It's not doing anything fancy. It's saying, I will send you my crap. I will put crap all over the board. Daredevil gives you a little bit of extra reading ability here. Although I'm not sure Daredevil is actually better than Jeff here. This is a very good deck. Now, you can find Lambi, the greatest player in the history of Marvel Snap, on twitch.tv/LambiSeriesTV. For the deck, though, we have a weird problem. All of the expensive things can mostly be replaced by other expensive things. Nebula can be Iceman or Nightcrawler, which are cheap, but the best Nebula replacement is probably Jeff. The best White Widow replacement is also probably Jeff. You're going to need Ravonna. Cannonball is important, but the Cannonball replacements are a Series 5 and a Series 4 card. Hulk and Lady Deathstrike. Sorry, Red Hulk and Lady Deathstrike. I don't know what to tell you. That's just how this deck works out. But those are the replacements. Those are what I would change. This won an infinite ticket already in JD McDonald and Hosan's. Props to JD. This is a very, very strong list, even if it's definitely not for me. I played it. This was part of my losing streak straight up. The meta is hard counter. My meta, at the very least, is straight up hard countering the crap out of White Widow right now. It's like, oh, destroy or Annihilus mirrors. And Annihilus mirrors are obnoxious with White Widow. All right, again. Yesterday's video, I specifically say the worst week for most new cards is the week they come out when everyone's expecting them, when everyone's playing around them, when everyone has stuff to do to them and with them. So I think White Widow will still be great. I just think this week is going to be like, oof, pain in the ass. All right, turn 1, Nebula over Hood. Generally speaking, sometimes it's Hood. If you don't have anything to do on turn 2, you play Hood, and then you can go Nebula and Demon on turn 2. Turn 2, Ravonna is more or less equal to Daredevil, is more or less better than Widow. I'd prefer to get Ravonna down before Daredevil because I would like a turn 4 of 2/2s is one of my favorite things to do, which would be like Daredevil and Widow, or if I've got Ravonna, Daredevil and Goblin, or Widow and Goblin. Turn 3 is Debris, generally speaking, because again, if I've got Ravonna down, I like to save that Goblin, but it could be that Goblin. Turn 4, if you've got that Ravonna down and have a really clear spot, Professor X. If not, Sentry or 2/2s. Turn 5, Annihilus, if you did that Sentry play, or you've got that Hood, or you can use your Professor X here. Sometimes if you use Professor X on 4, Sentry and Demon are really good here because that's 16 power, and if the Professor X is blocking right and you've won that lane, there is no downside. I'm telling you, I really missed Jeff with this deck, though, as I was playing it. It felt real weird to have Professor X and not Jeff. Then turn 6 is Annihilus or Cannonball. Your goal is to make it Cannonball. You destroy their last thing. You filled one lane with your junk. You've Professor X'd one lane. And then you Cannonball off their big thing, and the game is yours. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if you lost that Professor X lane because you've put so much crap in one of their other lane, they can't play there. And then you win. All right, one last look at this deck. It is real strong, real good. A little hard to play, but definitely worth messing with. All right. It is our, oh no, I didn't set up next week's custom card thing. I'm not going to go back. I will post on the Drewberry Discord what next week's challenge is. I meant to determine in advance. I actually know what it's going to be. I'll say it at the end of this section. But this is JRPG characters where the keyword is turn by turn. We have 3 winners. See, 3. We have 3 winners. Each of these winners is going to get a gold pass from me. So our first winner is Poisoned Wit, who made Kaim, or Kaim? I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that. It's been a long time. From Lost Odyssey. This is the protagonist. He's an immortal. In the game, there's this feature where the immortal characters, like Kaim, can learn abilities from the non-immortal characters by fighting with them, by working with them, and that's what this card does, because after each turn it adds an ongoing ability of a friendly card here to this card, and it'll only take unique abilities. So if there's like, once it's taken Iron Man, it can't take it twice, or if there's an Iron Man and Mystique, it can't take the same ability twice. That is potentially really powerful, especially in a Magic deck. It gives you an extra way to double Iron Man, but also if you can like ramp into a Sarah with this, that's like insanely strong. There's a lot of really great things to do with it. You can also just like Devil Dino, Darkhawk Ronin nonsense. You can play this on turn. It does it at the end of the turn, I guess. So I guess not. But if you you can play this and then move it to another location the next turn with like a Ghost Spider type play for a massive power spike. This works with Ms. Marvel amazingly. Like, that curves out perfectly, right? And then you've got 10 in each lane. You drop an Onslaught on that. You've got 20 in each lane. Seems awesome. You've got Sarah, Omega Red. I think this is a super duper cool card. And really, really big props to Poisoned Wit, our first winner. Our second winner is Leo Chase the Mythmaker, multiple-time winner. Leo saw Sephiroth's big-ass sword and said, in Marvel Snap, big-ass sword means discard. And decides to discard the lowest cost card from your hand, which is I'm considering being like either shedding Geneva cells or killing Aerith. We're getting rid of the weakest things. I think this is really cool. This is obviously, by the way, Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VII Remake/Rebirth's antagonist. At the end of each turn, discard the lowest cost card from your hand, then do it again. So it's a double discard at the end of each turn. That's a discard of 4 cards if you play this on 5. It's a 5/7. It seems really, really great for Apocalypse Discard, where you go Dracula this into MODOK. And then you're just like super, super strong to end the game. It works really, really great with Swarms. It gives you a way to get those Swarms out before you MODOK, so that then you can play that. It seems like it's going to really, really power up Collector an insane amount. And I bet you there's a new Hella ramp with this that basically runs a bunch of 5-drops instead of the regular Hella stuff, and discards like Iron Man and Devil Dino and or I guess not Devil Dino, and Ronin and whatever other nonsense. And then when you bring it back with Hella, you're bringing back like a bunch of 5s, and I think that's probably real, real cool too. I like this a lot. I wish they put this exact effect into the game. All right, this one from Hellboy, I don't think they can release. I think it's too good, but this is the exact kind of card this kind I think would really, really spice up the game. Something that you play at the beginning of the game as a part of your deck that really changes the way you play the game. So this starts in your hand. It must be played this turn. This starts in your hand, not like Agatha, like Thanos. This ability cannot be removed. This card cannot be destroyed. At the end of a turn, a command is selected based on the number of cards you played. Again, brilliant, the number of cards you played. This is the Dragon Quest hero. Dragon Quest is the first JRPG series, so it had to be here. And then, like, when you see the variants, I'll explain some more stuff. But this card absolutely loves Hitmonkey Mysterio shenanigans, where you can play a million cards in one turn. I think Destroy is relatively happy with this when you see what the abilities do, as is Black Swan, and Move can likely abuse this as well. Now, this is important. These abilities are a little bit overpowered. I think these would have to be tuned down and shaken up for this to be really like actually put into the game. But either which way, I love the concept so much. It also makes perfect sense for the Dragon Quest hero. So first, and by the way, these are all different Dragon Quest spells. So the first is Psych Up. When you play 0 cards this turn, hero gains +3 power. So unless you're playing strictly bounce, you just spend a turn passing and then you have an 0-3, which seems pretty damn good. When you play one card this turn, +2 power to the card you played. So there's a reasonable way to do this and just play 1 card a turn and say all my cards have +2. That seems like it's really strong, right? This is, again, I think it might need to change. This is one of my favorites. I think 2 would actually be awesome in Marvel Snap. When you play 2 cards this turn, -1 power to all enemy cards. That is Sizzle, because your cast Sizzle is a fire spell, so you're just burning each for 1 power. Turn 3 is Zoom. When you play 3 cards this turn, move a hero to the location of the last card you played if possible. Love it. Absolutely love it. You have to figure out where that card is going if you've played 3 cards. And it's exactly 3, right? It's not 3 or more. So turn 4 is Heal. When you play 4 cards this turn, set all cards that are in the same location as hero, which are afflicted with negative power to their base power. Great. Just says, because otherwise, like, stuff like Cyclops is just a huge counter, not if you can play 4 cards. Thwack is the kill spell. When you play 5 cards this card, all cards in the opponent's hand gain +1 cost. I think that's hilarious, because that's a reason to do the Mysterio Hitmonkey like Wasp thing on turn 5. You can just sort of ruin their lives. I think that's super cool. I don't know what the hell Hatchet Man is. Straight up, don't know. But cool. When you play 6 cards this turn, destroy all the opponent's ongoing cards at the hero's location. Cool. 6 cards is really hard to play. And 7 cards, when you play 7 or more cards this turn, destroy hero's location. That's my favorite, because like playing 7 cards in a turn is insane. If you can do it, you deserve to do something silly, and I think this is silly enough to make it worth it. So those are the abilities, and then this is what really put it over the top. We got 2 variants. We've got the Dragon Quest V and the Dragon Quest XI hero, which are my 2 favorite Dragon Quest games, 5 being my single favorite by an awful lot. I love Dragon Quest V. It's the only one that I know of where your hero is not the hero of legend, and he is just like, it's such a great game. If you can play it on your phone, by the way, if you want to play Dragon Quest V. And Dragon Quest XI is one of the greatest games ever made. It's on Switch, it's on PC, it's on PS4. I don't know if it's on the modern consoles, PS5, but you should check it out. But Dragon Quest V is really only, like, outside of emulation, modern playable on your phone, and like the 3DS, but whatever. It is so good. It's so good. It's a little grindy because it's old, but the story is just through the roof fantastic. I love the game. Cool. So super props for this wonderful, wonderful card and design. For all of these, the 3 of you, 1 gold passes. Please shoot me a message, obviously, in the Drewberry Discord, or just shoot me a DM. Now, I didn't write down what won next. We'll talk about the last deck in one moment. So we're finally doing DC heroes next week, and we're just going to make it nice and simple. We're going to do the Justice League. We're going to aim for the big 7, but you can do like anyone who's like replaced one of them in like a major cartoon or a major comics arc when they put like the major heroes together. So like Hawkgirl can be one of your big 7, Justice League for this, that kind of thing. But we're doing DC, and it is a free for all as long as it's DC. Please remember, I will post this in the Drewberry Discord as soon as humanly possible tomorrow. All right, our last deck is the deck that Crazy hit number 1 with. Crazy had been playing Thanos all season, fell from the number 1 spot as the meta shifted, and then shifted to Loki Junk, and climbed right back to number 1. This is a really cool version of it. I am genuinely surprised it runs Mirage over Yondu, but hey, that's where we are. We've got Quinjet, Snowguard, Mirage. It's got the 2 draw from your opponent's cards in Cable and Mirage as ways to like mess with your opponent. It's got the Gladiator and the Zemo for Junk. It can win either by doing all that stuff and playing Mockingbird, or like Coulson, or it can win obviously through the Loki play line and play pattern. Hope Summers is really good here because as you're taking their cards, you need a lot of energy to play all that stuff. So Hope is very important. So you can find Crazy at twitter.com/crazymsnap. Loki is very obviously needed for this deck. Mockingbird can be Dino, Mirage can be Sentinel, and Snowguard can be Maria Hill. Mirage can also be, again, as said earlier, Yondu. Jeff can be Nightcrawler or Yondu. Hope and Zemo can be Cosmo Rogue, and then you would have to build like a tech deck. Gladiator would be something that would have a lot of power, like Ms. Marvel or Omega Red. All right, this is the rank 1 deck in Marvel Snap as of this recording. FAK Crazy has spent 90% of this season in number 1. This is the current number 1 list. Turn 1, Snowguard Kinjet. Turn 2, Cable is better than Mirage, is better than Jeff. You want to take a card from them over copying one from them unless you know exactly what's in their hand. Turn 3, Coulson is generally better than Hope, depending on what the board is. Sometimes Hope replaces Coulson, but if I'm going to Loki, I really want to get that Coulson out. Hope is generally better than Gladiator, generally better than Zemo. Turn 4 is Loki or a 3, and then turn 5 is Loki, Mockingbird or a 3. Turn 6 is Shang plus whatever else you have, and obviously generated cards fit in as they do. One last look at this list, and we're almost done with our daily video. We've got one more thing, because I promised you a bundle guide, but this is one last look at the current number 1 deck in Marvel Snap. Remember, Loki is not easy to play. Like everything, try it out in Conquest before you take it on Ladder, but especially Loki decks. All right, we've got Dr. Bloom. This bundle is perfectly cromulent and mediocre. It is basically $10 or 1,200 gold and a variant. Basically, a variant is about $10 worth of value anyway, so like $18, whatever. So you're getting decent value on the gold. They usually give us better than this for our cash, but this is a cheap bundle, and I prefer when they do a lot of $10 bundles to a lot of $100 bundles. I feel like it lets more people get involved in the game, lets more people get involved in getting stuff, and so I bought this in order to reward them for giving us something that is affordable. I think if you are the type of person that spends, and you usually spend at like 190%, spending something at 170% is worth it to tell them that this is something we will support in the game and to give us more of this. Cool? That's it for today. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'd like to thank Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Fathor Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., Jane Every, JT McDonaldino, hey, that's who played that Lambi deck, Caretix Lee, Koire, Pyroferos, The Goat Seeker, Danman Falcon, Doku, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, Juan Diego Lebed, The Bizza, X-Force V, Skippy G, Snap Judgment's League 1 champion, Tommy Nyquist, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Kev Sihora, Luna Chris, Louis Antunes, my former student, Mod Supreme Models, Fuzzy Dunlap, Spectrumix, Hoot, Matt H, DJ Mikey Hijinks, No Flex, Ocularis, Craig Sterry, Pretty Damn Chill, Seamus, Spike Jones, check him out on YouTube, Two Ties, The Pirate King Tucker, The Homie Man, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for damn, these decks today were top notch. Please hit that sub, like, and comment if you're here this long, especially. These decks, I think today were genuinely top decks in the meta. We bring you 3 new decks, 6 days a week, and then that last day we release an hour-and-a-half to 2-hour podcast. We bring you more and more consistent Marvel Snap content than anyone. If you're interested in doing more to support us, please check out the Patreon, but also check out the Patreon so that you can join the Snap Judgments League. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be game-changing. We'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take, where I will have initial impressions on White Widow from some of the top players in Marvel Snap. Peace.